Today, First Lady Jill Biden is spending time in Chicago to talk about women's health. She's making a stop at UIC to highlight the importance of more research on menopause in women's health. It's part of a White House initiative on women's health research, which first launched in November. Health advocate and actress Halle Berry will also be there, along with Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. Dr. Pauline Maki, too, with the University of Illinois Chicago, will be part of the event, an important part, and she joins us now with a preview. Dr. Maki, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Menopause is a big headliner of today's event. It's also been a big headliner for women through women's history. It is such a critical topic. Renewed focus now on this?
Brad, menopause is having a moment. When we watch the Super Bowl now, we see ads about hot flashes, right? So what on earth is happening? Well, what's happening is that women are demanding answers to their questions about menopause. And this focus that the First Lady and Halle Berry are having in their visit to the University of Illinois today is really to get insights into the latest research on menopause and to raise awareness about the sizable gaps in knowledge that we have on this issue.
So what will Jill Biden and Halle Berry be focusing on? What will, obviously, they're very important voices. And Halle Berry they both bring a ton of clout. You could not have probably bigger headliners to make your event more important. They will bring to the conversation what?
They come to the conversation. Halle Berry has been an advocate and out in public with her powerful voice to raise awareness about menopause, to destigmatize it, and to identify the gaps that there are in knowledge about menopause, particularly for Black and brown women who have a more difficult time with menopause. They have more severe symptoms. Those symptoms last for longer. And First Lady Dr. Biden is really to be credited for this unprecedented, and I would say revolutionary initiative to really survey what we know in women's health research about topics like menopause. What are the critical gaps? What are the priorities? And how do we give more money and funding to high-yield areas so that we can get women the help that they need?
Any connection to socioeconomics when it comes to African-American women having greater hardship with menopause?
Yeah, it's interesting, Brad. If I were to ask, the general audience, how long do you think Black women suffer from hot flashes? They might say a few years. Well, on average, Black women suffer from hot flashes for 10 years. And 50% of women have hot flashes for more than 10 years. And hot flashes disrupt sleep. And sleep is one of those things that we need for our heart health and for our brain health. And if we look at my area alone, which is Alzheimer's disease, Black and brown women have elevated risks of Alzheimer's disease. They're the group that's at highest risk. And so what we want to do is we want to make an economic impact on that because we have no cure for Alzheimer's disease. And it's going to cost tens of trillions of dollars to the United States because of that. So by understanding menopause in the brain, we can help women who are at increased risk for Alzheimer's disease bring into late life the healthiest brain that they can so that when the pathology of Alzheimer's disease emerges, if it does, their brains are resilient to it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Every health story I read, a lot of them, they're incongruous. It's like butter's good one day, butter's bad the other. But one thing is always linearly the same is lack of sleep is really bad and often leads to deteriorated brain health. So that's fascinating. What you just said, I never knew. And also, I think sometimes guys especially, and just, not just lack of, you hear hot flashes and you don't realize the severity of it, the debilitating nature of it. I was also reading your study on the brain and how menopause can cause what is known as brain fog. Which
That's
is
right.
not just confusion or I'm having a rough day. I mean, it can be a debilitating side effect. Tell me some of your findings with menopause in the brain.
Sure. When we think about menopause, we usually think about hot flashes as the key symptom. But there are other symptoms that affect certain women. It's important to realize that some women sail through menopause with no problem at all. But a lot of women have problems with something that they call brain fog. So they can't concentrate as well. They feel that their memory is not functioning as well as it could be. And what my research team at the University of Illinois at Chicago is doing is trying to understand what happens to the brain as women transition through the menopause. And the brain actually gets remodeled in some ways. Now, why is that? That's another important question. Is it just the changes in estrogen? So women lose estrogen at menopause. Is that what's driving this? Is it perhaps the menopause symptoms? And so our team has shown that it's a combination of all of the above. It's changing levels of estrogen. It's these hot flashes. It's the lack of sleep and persistent lack of sleep that contribute to brain fog in women. And so, for example, some of our research suggests that one of the priorities for women's health research is to try to understand if we treat hot flashes in women, will we help them to bring a healthier brain into their later life? In other words, are hot flashes a risk factor for cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease in women? That's the kind of awareness that the First Lady's initiative can bring to this important field.
That's fascinating. So hormone replacement is such a tough decision for women. Mixed messaging, and I don't even mean mixed messaging. It's also mixed results, right? Like as you say, some people sail through menopause, some people are debilitated by it for a decade. Is research getting any better as to honing in onto who should and who shouldn't consider it?
It's such an important question, and yes, it is. So research organizations like the Menopause Society, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the International Menopause Society, have all come together to agree that the benefits of estrogen-containing hormone therapy for women with moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms, that's the fancy word for hot flashes and night sweats, that for the majority of women, the benefits far outweigh the risks if you have those symptoms. The challenge in interpreting all the scientific literature is what's the role of hormone therapy for other systems? We all agree that it's the best thing to treat hot flashes. But what about the brain? What about the heart? And that's where that disagreement, that confusion can come into the picture. So for example, my field is Alzheimer's disease, and a study a very long time ago, almost 20 years ago, suggested that hormone therapy could increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Well, women rightly fear Alzheimer's disease, right? But research since that time has suggested that if women take it early in their transition, not when they're older, like the women in that study, but if they take it earlier, it can actually potentially benefit their brain, but particularly if they have those hot flashes and those hot flashes are treated.
Okay. Well, this is a remarkable conversation and something that affects us all who love the women in our lives and our mothers. And I hope I did it justice with my questions. You certainly did it with your answers. Very enlightening. Dr. Pauline Maki. And the event today is when and where, quickly?
It's at the University of Illinois at Chicago. It's a closed event, but you can look at Halle Berry's social media channel for all the highlights.
I'm sure we will do that. Dr. Maki, thank you for your work, University of Illinois Chicago, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Brad.